The state of the vote for the President of the United States, as delivered to the President of the Senate, is as follows. The whole number of the electors appointed to vote for President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, the majority is 270. The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes. The whole number of electors appointed to vote for Vice President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, a majority is 270. The votes for Vice President of the United States are as follows. J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio has received 312 votes. Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota has received 226 votes. This announcement of the state of the vote by the President of the Senate shall be deemed a sufficient declaration of the persons elected, President and Vice President of the United States, each for a term beginning on the 20th day of January 2025, and shall be entered together with the list of the votes on the journals of the House and the Senate.
Another signal that for all of that resistance, for all of that opposition, Donald J. Trump is now President of the United States. President Obama.
Well, that's because he'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
It's pretty.
Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. If anybody's heard today, I'm sure everybody has. Today, January 6, 2025, Donald Trump, was certified. So much for people saying that they were going to go against his certification, but that did not take place. The beauty of it was that Kamala Harris had to stand there at the podium and certify it for him after everything that happened this year, with her so-called campaigning and all the garbage that's been happening the past 4 years, I should say 8 years, There's a couple of clips I want to show. I want to touch on something, but before I do, two things. Number one, don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. And the second thing is that I want to, I had to write a list because there's certain people, and I know everybody's, happy and they're celebrating, we got today done, without a hitch. And I want to thank all the patriots, all the American patriots out there that, that stood their ground, stayed vigilant. We voted, we got them back in. Now we're gonna, we can get some normalcy back in. But, there's a lot of other people that deserve credit also. So I had to write a list just so I can read it out, so I wouldn't forget. Because there was a lot of people I was thinking about. I was like, well, there's a lot of people that that helped with this. And I think it's only fitting that we thank them also. So I had to write it down on my phone today as I was at work, just thinking of names and stuff like that. But I'm gonna just read down the list. There's nothing, alphabetically or anything like that. But first, I think that we We should all thank, let me see, Alvin Bragg. Okay, we should thank him. Letitia James, Fannie Willis, Eric Adams, Kathy Holcomb. Let me see, the whole Democrat Party. Okay, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, especially since he scolded all those young men and said that they had to vote for Kamala. Yeah, that worked out pretty good. Who else? Let me see. The list goes on and on. We definitely got to thank Kamala Harris. Okay. We got to thank Zelensky for taking billions and billions of American taxpayer dollars. Okay, for his own little pocket. Who else do we got here? Let me see. We got to thank Soros. Okay, for funding a lot of the disinformation, misinformation campaigns, especially with the media, and just always bringing up garbage and stuff like that. Joy Reid, we got to thank her. Rachel Maddow, don't forget her. We got to thank her also. She was a big part of it. MSNBC, CNN. We got to thank Don Lemon before he got fired and after he got fired. We got to thank him. Same thing goes with Cuomo. We got to thank him before and after he got fired. Okay, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, AOC, New York's darling. We got to thank her. Again, the Democrat Party. We got to thank them. Let me see who else is here. Gavin Newsom. We got to thank him. He was a big part of it. Big shout out to Mexico. Okay, for keeping their borders open and just letting illegals come through their country to come and break into our country through the border. Literally, because they did. In case anybody wants to argue that, the video is out there of them, cutting through the fences and all that. So we got to give a big shout out to Mexico for doing that. Who else do we got here? Let me see. Justin Trudeau, because he talked a lot of jazz about Trump. And by the way, I believe Justin Trudeau resigned today from Canada. So that's good news for you Canadians out there. Okay, our brothers and sisters up north. Did I say Chuck Schumer? I'll say it again. Yeah, Chuck Schumer. Let me see. Who else? Who do we got here? Oh, Jamie Raskin. Remember Jamie Raskin said he was going to, put a stop to it? We got to thank Joe Biden. Don't forget good old Joe. He helped out a lot with that. Who else do we got? The mainstream media. Already said that. Let me see. The View. We got to thank all the women from The View. Okay? Especially Whoopi Goldberg. We got to thank all the woke colleges, all their professors. We got to thank them. Can't forget them. All the woke DAs, all the woke judges, all the woke governors and mayors and school boards and the teachers. We got to thank all of them. Okay, who else do we got? There's a lot of people. A lot of people that are not going to get, thanks for this. Who do we got? Let's just say the whole woke agenda squad. Okay, the alphabet mafia. We gotta not gay people in general, just the mafia part of them. We already spoke about all that. Who else do we got? Who else? Let me see. There's a big list. Who else is here? Who else is here? Social media. A lot of goons on social media. Okay, Cenk Uygur. We got to thank him. On the Young Turks. Who else do we got? Midas Touch was in on it. Like I said, all the leftist mainstream media people that were out there. We got to thank the mayor and governor of Chicago, the mayor and governor of Colorado, California. The list goes on and on and on. Who else do we got? We got to thank woke Disney, woke Target, woke Bud Light, woke ESPN, the Democrats again. Okay. We got to thank Liz Cheney, Adam Kissinger. Can't forget them. The whole January 6th committee. We got to thank them. Woke Hollywood, the woke music industry. Oprah Winfrey. Can't forget to thank her. Who am I missing? I'm probably missing a few people. But, we got to thank China and their drones, for just flying over America as if they, they can do whatever the hell they want. Just because, the Democrats say so. And the supposed aliens that are flying ahead, they're trying to push that down our throat. Who else do we got here? Let me see. And I guess that's it for now. I mean, the list could go on and on. As a matter of fact, if there's anybody you people would like to thank, leave it in the comments, okay? And we'll just, we'll give our special thanks to anybody that deserves it. that basically helped more and more people in America open up their eyes and see that, you know what, the Democrat Party is not the way to go. We're voting Donald Trump. Okay? And here we are, and it's going to be good. Okay? And that's the way it should be. Because we have suffered way too much. And finally, even though it's been a long, arduous journey and a lot of pain and suffering, okay, especially for innocent victims at the hands of criminals, homegrown criminals and illegal alien criminals, I think it's about time that everybody truly starts to celebrate this and get ready for better things to come. But with all that being said, I want to get to a couple of clips so you can see exactly what's going on with the mainstream media, how they just, they're not giving up. They're going to lie no matter what, and they just want to have it their way. But they're not understanding that's not how it goes. Okay, so pay attention. Here we go. This montage, or I should say this content was put together by BCP, Black Conservative Perspective. Don't forget to go on his channel and show him some love. But he put some clips together that were real good, and I wanted to touch on this just so you guys can see how bad the mainstream media is melting down, and they're just trying to spin everything as if you know what, it's not so much that they're complacent, they just can't give up on losing. They're just nothing but a bunch of sore losers, regardless of the fact that they've done nothing, okay, but just basically nearly destroyed this country in the past 4 years. Here we go.
Brad, is it time for Donald Trump to apologize for what took place 4 years ago?
I wouldn't expect Donald Trump would apologize. I think nor do I expect Democrats to apologize for trying to undo his presidency by all legal and extra legal means after that.
Come on, Brad. Come on.
No, Jim, come on, Brad. Come on. Look at CNN's own exit polling. Voters who said they voted on democracy were evenly split between Democrats and Republicans. January 6th was a dark day in the history of our country. Donald Trump bears a lot of responsibility for that. It's something that should stay in his legacy forever. However, voters, they punished him for it. That's why he was behind Ron DeSantis by 20 points until Alvin Bragg indicted him. And once voters decided that Democrats were determined to prevent Donald Trump from being elected by any extra legal means, they decided maybe this wasn't as clear.
I mean, shouldn't your party have just rejected him, just flat out rejected him, from Kevin McCarthy to Mitch McConnell to the whole lot of them? How could your party let him be the nominee again? Watch
what Kevin McCarthy and Mitch McConnell said in the aftermath of that. They absolutely did condemn him. Mitch McConnell was still condemning him months afterward on the floor. Yeah. Nancy Pelosi decided to use January 6th for partisan gain, though.
There you go.
That's not true, she refused to let Kevin McCarthy.
There they go again. That's not true. That's all you hear from these Democrats. That's not true. That's not true. Everything is that's not true. Even that 2020 interview, I think it was, or Nightline interview that Trump did with, I forgot that woman's name, the older woman, the reporter. Okay. When Trump came out and brought out some facts, she said the same thing. Sir, that's not true. That's all they say. That's not true. Yes, it is true. The proof is out there. You can't hide it. Stop telling people it's not true. Okay? Leave that up to the brain dead content creators on social media to go and try to tell other people out there that's not true. Don't believe that. You're supposed to be the media, and yet you're still lying in the people's faces. This is why you lost. Because people are finding out more and more truths out there, and you keep trying to tell them that's not true. Don't believe your lying eyes or ears. That's not true. Really? That's why he won. Plain and simple. Regardless of how anybody tries to skirt around it or tries to change it or put a spin on it, the truth of the matter is more and more people got fed up listening to the Democrats, and when they realized that, you know what, wait a minute, the Democrats are not on the up and up. Okay? If Trump is not such a big factor, then why aren't things getting better for us? Okay? More and more people started waking up saying, wait a minute, this is not about Trump. Okay? This is about the Democrats wanting to be in control of everybody from the top to the bottom and give nothing in return. And then they'll go and just vilify a person that wants to give back to the people. Regardless of how anybody spins it, on the media, on social media, it doesn't matter. Those are the facts. That's why the Democrats lost and Donald Trump won. But let's continue.
Appoint Republicans to the committee. She
That's
didn't
not
let
true
Republicans hire staff to the January 6th Oversight Committee.
Facts.
They didn't allow
The
cross-examination.
January
of
6th
witnesses.
committee had the Republican of all Republicans, Liz Cheney, on
Liz
there.
Cheney
So
she was not appointed
booted out of your party. I mean,
she wasn't appointed by her conference like
Dick
every
Cheney's
other
daughter.
committee. She wasn't appointed
Good
by
Republican.
the Republican.
I like the way he says that. Just because that was Dick Cheney's daughter. Oh, you mean the warmonger? Just because she was Dick Cheney's daughter, that makes her okay. Really? Did we forget that Joe Biden had a son that was making videos about doing drugs? So just because he is Joe Biden's son, he should get away with the crimes that he committed? Well, obviously he did, because his father gave him a blanketed pardon for the past 11 years. But yet everything that was supposedly a lie, okay, came out to be true. From his drug abuse, from him doing business with Barista and whatever other companies in Ukraine, in China, okay? Audio calls over the phone recorded, him even buying a handgun and then tossing it out in the trash. I mean, the guy was committing crimes, but just because, okay, this is the way the Democrats think, just because that's his son, by the way, which Biden said he wouldn't give him a pardon, and he went back on his word on that. What do you think? People don't watch? People don't listen? Okay? So now this goon's going to come out and say, oh, that's Dick Cheney's daughter. Did anybody forget? Okay, Dick Cheney's role in the Gulf Wars? Did anybody forget about that? Anybody? Because there's about, I don't know, half the country, if not 80% of the country that didn't forget that. Let me just go back a little bit. We'll play it again. Here we go.
Hire staff to the January 6th Oversight Committee. They didn't allow cross-examination.
The January 6th committee had the Republican of all Republicans, Liz Cheney, on
Liz
there.
Cheney
So
she was not appointed
booted
by
out of your party. I mean,
she wasn't appointed by her conference like
Dick
every
Cheney's
other
daughter.
committee. She wasn't appointed
Good
by the
Republican.
Republican conference.
Good Republican.
He's saying good Republican. Really, she's a good Republican. That's why right after the January 6th committee, or I think right before, okay, or in the middle sometime, she lost, they said, like the most in a landslide. She lost by like 62% in her own district. Because she's a good Republican. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so you see there, you heard that. Jim Acosta fuming, losing his mind, raging over the fact that Trump is going to be his president again. I love it. I absolutely love it. This is the best January 6th ever.
You got that right.
Already, okay? Because these propagandists and the mainstream liberal media, they can't help themselves. They can't just take a day off from Trump derangement and just cover the certification of the election from a neutral perspective, right? Just give straight coverage, straight commentary on it, and that's it. No. They have to show you how upset they are about all of this, right? The fact that Trump is becoming president again, despite the political persecutions from the Democrats, despite the efforts from the mainstream liberal media to gaslight the American people, to lie about Trump. All these things did not stop Trump from becoming president again. And this is what they're actually really mad about. And they just can't help but to show it on national television.
Scott, in a political sense, is it how we got here? Is interesting, and you can see the evolution. You can play all the sound bites from the days after when you heard Republicans blaming Donald Trump, some being short of saying he should be impeached, saying he should be held accountable. And 4 years later, we are here. It is a stunning political comeback attributed to how Trump played it afterward, how Democrats played it afterward, or something else?
Well, I think it's some mixture of everything, but to me, the big message is that in the United States, the people decide. And because of the disastrous 4 years that came after Donald Trump, the people decided to return Donald Trump to power. And that's fundamentally what happened. They looked at what happened on January the 6th. They looked at all the things Democrats claimed about Donald Trump, and they also analyzed every single decision that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris made, and they delivered Donald Trump a convincing victory 4 years later.
It is tough, though, Scott, because when you say the people decide, that's what people tried to make sure didn't happen on January 6th, was allowing the people to decide.
That's not true.
The machinery turned. It was a terrible...
The lack of acknowledgement of how bad it was in the aftermath.
I mean, I think a great many people have acknowledged it, but also what happened that day. The machinery turned. Joe Biden became the president. He had one of the worst terms of any U.S. president, and then the people scrambled back to Donald Trump. That is the history of what happened.
Basically.
Yeah, so you can see here, this CNN anchor, she's mad, she's upset. She's fuming over the fact that people weren't mad enough about what happened on January 6th. Again, these people really believe that January 6th was the worst day ever, right? Worse than 9/11, okay? This is what they believe. But the reality is that the American people, one, do not believe that, okay? Especially considering the information that has come out about January 6th after the fact. Everybody can see that January 6th was a protest that got out of control. That's what January 6th was.
Yep.
January 6th was not an insurrection. Okay, it was not the death of democracy. It was not any of these things. Okay, it was a protest that got out of control. Now, the sad reality for Democrats in the liberal media is that, as Scott Jennings is bringing up here, the next 4 years of Joe Biden and how terrible it was really showed people that, hey, you know what? I may not like what happened on January 6th, but it wasn't that big of a deal compared to the last 4 years of disaster under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Exactly.
And
one of them being, everybody knows, the border crisis. Okay? Now they're trying to break it down and make it seem as if, oh no, the border's under control. There's really nobody coming through the border anymore. It's never been a problem. It's like, no, that's not true. Okay? That's all smoke and mirrors. They decided to clean everything up, shut down the border, and pretend they're doing it the right way. But the truth of the matter is, we still have illegal migrants committing crimes, okay, in America. If they really wanted to show the people, they will start rounding up all the illegals they let in and start slingshotting them back over the border. But they won't do that either. Okay, just like when Gavin Newsom wanted, I forgot who it was that was supposed to come to California. I think it was Xi Jinping. It was somebody. I forgot who it was. But decided to clean up an area, okay, where it was basically just homeless people living, doing drugs and stuff like that, nothing but crime and just a filthy neighborhood. Decided to clean it up as optics, okay. And this is why so many people from the Democrat Party are upset. They're like, you're willing to do it so you look good. You've been promising us, but you haven't given us anything. Okay? Whereas when Trump came out and said, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, he did a lot of his policies. The policies that he could not get through, it was because the Democrats kept stopping him. But that's another spin that they're putting on it, making it seem as if, oh no, the Republicans had every right to do whatever they want. No, they did not. Okay? Especially in the past 4 years. That's why Joe Biden has been able to just pass so many draconian policies. Okay, that's affecting people in a bad way instead of a good way. But they're not going to admit to that. And they won't let go of the power. They're still going to come out and say, no, it's this, it's that, it's a lie, it's QAnon, it's coming from the right, it's coming from Trump. You people are deranged, you people are deplorables, you people are nothing but a bunch of cultists. Okay, the way, what's her name, Mika and Joe, okay, will always say that we're nothing but a bunch of cultists. But who's the cultist now that they don't want to let go of power? Okay, but let's continue.
That is just the reality of the situation. And the media and the Democrats, they're upset, they're mad that people care more about their actual lived experience, inflation, crime, the border, all things that Democrats deny, by the way, right? They care more about that than the propaganda about January 6th from Democrats in the liberal media. Remember, nobody watched the January 6th Hollywood special in Congress, okay?
Exactly.
Instead of focusing on how to help the American people with the core issues, right? Like, for example, closing the border and things like that. No. Democrats focused on trying to make a spectacle out of January 6th and crying about it for 4 years straight and thinking that people are going to vote based off that, right? When January 6th did not affect a vast majority of people's lives, right? Most people were not affected by what happened on January 6th. So at some point, people can only care so much about it, even if you disagree with what happened that day. People can only care so much about it considering how the policies of the Biden administration have not been good for the American people. That's it. That's just what's happening here. And again, these people just can't accept the truth that they have to let January 6th go, that people don't care that much.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I look at today, Donald Trump is inheriting one of the best economies that a president has inherited in a very long period of time.
I don't want to hear that bullshit. I don't want to hear that bullshit. That's the narrative that is going to come out of the mainstream liberal media because they know that Trump's economy is probably going to be great, right? And
exactly. And you know what? I brought this up in one of my other videos about a month or two ago, where I came across a content creator that was already trying to gaslight people, saying that when Trump gets into the White House, that things are going to go good, but that'll just be that'll be coming from the Biden administration, which is all bullshit. Okay, when Obama was president, the country, I mean, it was just doing miserably. Okay, miserably. He tried to come out and say, and the Democrats tried to come out and say that that was because he inherited Bush's problems, but he had 8 years to change it, and he didn't. Okay, Donald Trump comes in, and it took him about a year. Okay, and the economy started doing really good, started doing really great. Then people started saying, oh, that was because of Obama's policies. You can't have it both ways. That's not how it works. Fast forward, okay, Trump's economy is doing really great. Biden comes in. There is a little bit of trickle over from Trump's presidency, but then the country starts turning to crap, and then they come out and say, because he inherited Donald Trump's problems. That's not how it works. You cannot have the double standard. You're not going to have it your way. Everybody knows that whatever the Democrats touch turns to shit. Now they know that when Donald Trump comes in, that the economy is going to do better. Now he's going to come out and say Donald Trump, okay, is inheriting Joe Biden's good economy. That's bull, straight up bull. Everybody knows it. Okay? But this is how these Democrats are going to whine, and they're going to try to put a spin on it. They're going to have their meltdown, and by hook or by crook, they're going to stick by their story. And this is the mindset that they keep feeding people that keep believing it. If it's not about hate, it's about race, or it's about just straight up lies. Okay? The economy is going to do great because of Joe Biden's policies. First of all, Joe Biden hasn't even been a figure in the past 5-6 months in this country. What has he been doing, even if he wanted to make the economy better? I mean, what was on the campaign trail? So many people on the right, but not really on the right because we already knew. So many people on the left were bringing up the fact that Kamala Harris is making all these promises. Why doesn't she do it now? Okay? Which is a very good point. Because they never did it from the beginning. That's why they couldn't do it back then, and she couldn't do it now. That's why she lost.
If Trump's economy is great, they'll say, well, it was Biden, right? This
Exactly.
is Biden's economy, okay? This is what they'll say. So they're already pushing this. But I don't want to hear it, right? I don't want to hear it.
If you look at the fact that something like net migration at the border is lower than it was even before Donald Trump took office.
Unreal.
If you want to look at the stock market, you're
There
looking
you
at
go.
the stock
But two
market.
things can't be true. No, but two things
I'm not even finished writing it down yet. This is
Two
the
things
first time.
can't be
This is
true.
the
The
first time.
border needs to be secured
But hold on one second.
further, and this number can be
But this is the first time. This is the first time in dozens of years that a president has actually inherited a government where we don't have soldiers overseas in active combat zones. So I mean, let's actually look at where we are. We actually, or he is actually inheriting a government right now that is much better than any predecessor he's had before.
I am okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I recognize that was the argument that was made during the election, and I would also like to recognize that the American people soundly rejected that argument. We do have American troops in forward locations all over the world.
Not in combat zones.
But they are in hot spots. I mean,
But not in combat zones.
We just had an American soldier die not too long ago in the Middle East.
Correct. And they're protecting our freedom every day.
Trying to fix Joe Biden's $300 million public relations pier for Gaza. I mean, the reality is migration was a disaster. Immigration was a disaster for 3.5 years. And they tried to window dress it for the last 6 months. Inflation was a disaster for all 4 years. The economy is not working for most people. That's why Democrats lost the election, and that's why they're going back to Trump.
Democrats lost the election. Nobody's arguing that. I mean, that's what the argument was 4 years ago when Donald Trump was filing lawsuits and they were raiding the White House. What we are saying, though, is that prices are going down. What I am saying is...
No, they're not.
They actually are going down.
Inflation is still...
It's plateauing.
It is decreasing in rate, which is the entire goal.
But
of
are
the
prices
Federal
going
Reserve.
down or not? Just to be clear. No, they're not.
They
going
are down
And
from
they're
their sky high rates. Yes.
Actually,
Stop.
No.
Let's move on. Next up for
We were just arguing...
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that because, I mean, this is just ridiculous. They're still going to try to make it seem like prices are going down. As a matter of fact, another little fun thing. in the comments, okay, wherever you people are at, okay, put down the state that you're in and put down the average cost of eggs, okay? Because the state that I'm in, the county that I'm in, a dozen of large eggs is $4.50. $4.50 for a dozen of just regular large eggs. Nothing special. Don't even try to buy brown eggs. Don't even try to buy organic eggs. Well, I mean, not that I dig all that, but I'm just saying, it's like this. She's saying the prices are down. You know, they used to be sky high. Like for a dozen eggs, that's not sky high. $4.50, and I'm supposed to be in one of the one of the lowest tax bracket states. Okay, so I could only imagine what they cost in California, in Hawaii, in Alaska. It's like these people they're not even out of touch. All they do is lie and lie and lie. And that's their MO. And this is why they lost. This is why today, on January 6th, 2025, okay, Donald Trump was certified to be the next president of these United States. Plain and simple. Okay? Plain and simple. But they can't accept that. They can't accept it. They don't want to accept responsibility. All they care about is money and power, control, greed. That's all it is. They don't care who gets hurt. They don't care who they lie to. Okay? They don't even care. They even throw their own under the bus. They don't even care about their own. Okay? Which we've seen time and time again. But in their eyes, nope. Trump's inheriting the best government, the best economy, the lowest border crossings. No, he's not. He's not. And like, I guess his name is Scott Jennings, I'm not too sure. He came out and said no. Okay, only in the past 6 months have you people went and put a curtain over all this. Okay, or whatever term he used, in order to make it look good. But it hasn't. And by then, it was too late. Okay? People had already made up their mind 2 years ago. Okay? I've seen people when they do reports on the ground out in the streets. 3 years ago, people are saying I should have never voted for Biden. But by then it was too late. But now that they see that, you know what, the Democrat Party has lost and they're still losing and they're going to lose a lot more. Nope, that's not the truth. Okay, that's not the truth. We just don't know what we did wrong, but we did everything right. No, you didn't. Because if you did, okay, Joe Biden would be the one. Okay, forget about Kamala Harris. We all know that was a fluke. Okay, but if Joe Biden was in better health, he'd be the one getting certified today. That's not the case. If the Democrats are really doing good, okay, Kamala Harris would be getting certified. Definitely not the case. She lost by what did Trump get? 312. Kamala got 220 something, 224, whatever the case is. Nearly over 100 points more. Okay? That is not you guys doing good. And that is not Donald Trump inheriting any good policies from the Democrats and the Biden regime. Plain and simple. But anyway, that's what I got for you. It's a good day. It's a brand new year. I had somebody ask me what's going to be my New Year's resolution. I don't do New Year's resolutions. And I just basically told them that I had 3, rat's ass left from last year. But I used those up a couple of days ago. So, New Year, Trump is back in the White House. I got no rat asses to give this year. That's just the way it's going to be. So, with that being said, people, don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. We're back. Trump is back. So, remember, people, stay vigilant. Keep praying. Keep praying for each other. Keep praying for the women and the children. Pray for this country. Pray for your enemies. And pray for Donald Trump. Peace.